about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics.
Alright, by YouTube, it is Charles here. Today I want to talk about Don't Forget Your Briefcase, number 2 from Mad Cave Comics. This is an action-packed espionage thriller with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of mystery and fun. Very high stakes. It is basically the story of this young man is one of the first characters we meet. He has recently lost his father, and as a way of remembering him, he carries his briefcase around with him as opposed to a book bag, which is a point of ridicule and even bullying. And in issue number 1, he fights back and ends up getting suspended from school, and so he has to go to work with his mother. And we find out that his mother is the communication director of the White House. And so we see him on, like he's outside of school. It happens to be the day of the inauguration for the new president. And as the new president is meeting the staff, getting familiar with the White House, just as he meets the young man and his mother, this mousy demure communications director, the president gets assassinated right in front of them. And in the confusion, the young man grabs his briefcase as his mother whisks him away, but we find out that he accidentally grabbed the wrong briefcase. The briefcase he did grab ends up being the nuclear football. If you don't know, the nuclear football is a briefcase that is carried by a Marine with the president at all times. It has the codes, the launch codes for the nuclear arsenal. And so it really ramps up there at the end of book 1. And I am giving away spoilers because these books have been out for a couple of months by now. I'm just now catching up to them. I have number 3 in the mail for me right now, so I'm very excited to get into that. But the issue ends with the White House communication director finding out the secret of her son's briefcase, freaking out, going to the bathroom of all places, opening the back of the toilet and pulling out a cell phone and a gun, and calling her Russian handler. And so that's where number 1 ends. Unexpected turn after unexpected turn. And we also met a Marine as well who was assigned to the briefcase, and it was her first day on the job. And we don't know a lot about her, but we know that there is some mysterious baggage in her past. And she sees this assignment as kind of a punishment or purgatory as opposed to letting her do what she really wants to do. And so she is begrudgingly taking up this task. And she finds out that, yeah, she's kind of dropped the ball. The nuclear football, if you will. And so it is a lot of fun. And in issue 2, it continues off with, just to give you a couple of the highlights. A Russian handler shows up, and just as she's trying, because she doesn't quite know what to do with the briefcase, she doesn't want to blow her cover. They apparently had nothing to do with the assassination, and so her Russian handler sees this as kind of an unexpected gift. She sees it as an unexpected annoyance, and at the same time that they're going through this, the Marine assigned to the briefcase was able to track her down in her home, and, she has questions. And so in a moment of, in a moment of confusion and improvisation, the White House communication director / Russian asset plays the Russian handler off as her husband when the Marine is when the Marine is at the door. And just as she's doing this, her son says, "Wait, that's my dad? Am I adopted?" And that's where the story ends. And it's kind of funny because the reason why he is surprised is because the kid is obviously at least half black, if not, completely. And so, this white Russian guy being his dad, not knowing that he doesn't know that his mom is a Russian spy. And so she's terrified and lost. The kid is mourning and confused. The Russian handler is caught with his hand in the cookie jar, and Marine is facing down the barrel of the failure of her first assignment. And you have all of these different stories coming to a head into another brilliant cliffhanger. Usually, when you have a book that starts off as big as this one did, issue number 1 literally started with a nuclear explosion, and then the history of the nuclear football throughout time, its creation and the different presidents. And you start out that way and end with the big cliffhanger of finding out that this White House employee is a Russian asset. Was a huge cliffhanger. You're like, there's no way they're going to top it. You're just going to coast. And they managed to top it. And so now I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for number 3 of Don't Forget Your Briefcase from Mad Cave Comics. Check it out right now. They're on issue number 3. Issue number 4 is going to be dropping this month, October, so don't miss it. Get it at your local comic book store, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.